Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my interviews. Well, very soon we're going to be seeing those bills dropping from the council tax, aren't we? And we're all going to have a sudden shock, an intake of breath, you might say, because we know that some of these councils are putting up the prices, certainly by up to 5%, if not going into the red and going over to that 144 document, I think it is, where it can go up to 25% more. And how are we going to deal with that? And how are we going to deal with all the other utility bills that are coming in? Well, my guest today has been exploring the Bills of Exchange Act. He is not claiming all of this is his research, but he wants to pass it on, and he is doing it. And of course, I would like to share that with my lovely audience for you to do your own due diligence and see what you make of it. His name is Richard, but he's otherwise known as the beer guy. I wonder if he's got a glass of beer at the hand. Welcome, Richard, to the show.
Hi, how are we doing, Richard?
I'm doing very well, very interested to hear what you're up to and the information that you can share with the audience. But first of all, let me ask you, how did you get the name The Beer Guy?
It was a company that I set up years ago. It was a 24-hour beer delivery service.
Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
yeah, so it was called Beers Here, and then I needed an
Beers.
email, so I thought the beer guy. So I was like, yeah, roll with
And
it.
it stuck. Fantastic. Well, that's answered that question. Brilliant. Now I know that you're fighting against the system, as it were, or at least standing. Fighting against the system sounds like we're all sort of rebels or something. I suppose we are to a degree, but a corrupt system is what we've seen in a lot of instances, and we're all getting these bills. But you've got a legitimate way. Is that a good way of saying it? Of paying off debts.
So the way that I see it,
Yeah.
and the way that I've been learning from friends across the city or across the pond, as they say, um, is that we should be getting paid for performing on these documents. So, as most people in this kind of space know, we the individual, the man or the woman that in signs these documents that actually brings the money into existence.
Yes.
Um, and that's on, I think it's an RT interview where it says banks are not in the business of loaning money; they are in the business of purchasing securities. So we're creating securities. We then leave what's called a blank endorsement, and then we give the document back to the banks, and they say you'll find the money in your account, whatever you've done it for. Um, you've signed, you've left a blank endorsement. So technically, you've created a security. You've then given it to the bank and said, "There you go. You can keep that and do what you want with it." Which of course they do. They trade it around and buy and sell it, and then eventually it gets all bundled up and goes to the uh, Bank of England discount window facility, where it again gets bought and sold and whatever. But that's usually when it comes right to the end. So they get as much out of it as they can, and then send it to the Bank of England discount window facility. So they're all getting paid. They're having a laugh. We've created that money, and then they give us the money and say you've got to pay it back over this period of time, and you've got to pay this much interest. Um,
And that's
yeah,
really where the fraud sort of starts, because we've already created the money, and in a nice world they would say thank you very much, what a nice service you've done for us, because we've made money, as you say, by trading it. But then here's the double whammies: then they come down on you like a ton of bricks if you can't afford to, or they're making the money from the repayments and the interest they put on it.
yeah. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world, and when you understand how banking works, like I just explained, they're not in the business of loaning money out. They're in the business of purchasing securities. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Right.
They purchase securities and they trade it around and they make loads of money off it before it eventually goes to the window. Um, so what I'm doing at the minute, um, so the council started sending these through. You owe this, you owe this, and I was like, well, just keep sending the letters. I want to see what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And then a couple of weeks before I got this letter that you might be able to see in the background. You might not be able to see it.
Yep,
Uh,
we can see
so,
it.
so that's the summons for non-payment of council tax.
And many of our viewers will be familiar with that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they sent this one through, and about 2 weeks beforehand, I somehow stumbled upon information from a guy over the pond called Brandon Joe Williams. Some people,
Brandon Joe Williams. Yep.
that's it, yeah. Um, some may have heard of him, some may not have heard of him. Um, but he's brought a little bit of a spark back to um, the kind of movement and how money works and what we're supposed to be doing with these documents and bills that come through. So he teaches UCC3, which is essentially the Bills of Exchange Act 1882. The UCC3, he says on his videos, it is basically derived from the Bills of Exchange Act 1882, and he was looking at the Bills of Exchange Act 1882 to help prove some of his points with the UCC. Um, that's the Uniform Commercial Code, and usually the 3 bit is to do with money and finance and how it works. So essentially, I did his course. When you sign up to it, you get one video every day. Um, so you can take your time and go through it. They're usually about an hour. I think the first one is about half an hour, and then after that it's usually about an hour for each video, and he just goes through loads of different points. It's not all about UCC3. It's all about there's lots of information in there, trusts and uh, cars and yeah, estate, like pretty much everything that you need to bring everything together. So
I think you
what
said, did you say to me that the course was free?
it's free. It's free. Yeah, yeah,
That's I just in case people went, oh, this is about another course you've got to pay and blah blah blah. It's free,
yeah,
So
yeah.
that will
Crazy.
make people, whoa, hold on a second, let's find out more.
Yeah, honestly, crazy, crazy. Because I look at these people. There's a guy called, I think it's Yusuf Al. He was doing the secure party creditor stuff in America, and I felt like I wanted to look into his information. I was in his Facebook group, just trying to pinch bits off of Americans and just see what sort of stuff they're doing. Um, but yeah, I think he's got a course that you have to pay for, and there's loads of American people. You pay for courses and subscriptions and all this stuff. But yeah, he brings it all out for free. He's done a 2.0 course. If you are going to go down and do it, do all of the 2.0 course and then definitely watch the post video of the 2.0 course, because he believes that's going to be the beginning of the 3.0 course.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially teaching people how to structure things the correct way, and how he's done it. He's rolling around with a motorbike and a Ford GT or something, and they both got diplomatic plates on. So that's the sort of thing that he's doing over there. Um, and I was like, well, how can we get this over here? And
Mm.
basically the punchline of what he was doing was teaching people how they can walk into a car forecourt, sign the finance agreement for the car or vehicle. I can't remember what term he uses, but it's proper legal term for it. But endorsing the document in a specific way, which then means that the individual who's done that, the person or the man woman who has done that, they're essentially getting paid to take away free cars. So
Gosh.
it's yeah, it's a bit of a crazy way to think about it, but as I just explained, we're the creators, we're the creditors, we're the ones that
Right.
bring money into existence.
And so, I mean, just on that point, he's gone in there and he signs it in a specific way. Nobody's losing
No,
in that.
no, they get
That's the
paid.
thing. It's not like suddenly, oh, I've got this car and this poor bloke, sold it to me and suddenly lost the money. Nobody's actually losing. Um, and the man or woman who's done this isn't losing. I mean, he's gained the car, but he isn't losing because ordinarily you would be paying back money which had already been paid by your signature.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, the business is getting paid, the uh, individual on the day is getting paid, and they're also getting a free car. So yeah,
There you
so
go. That's
this
isn't
this
that what
for
life
me.
should be about?
Well, this is it. Yeah.
Isn't that what we
Um,
should be here for?
well, this is it. I put it. I've attached things to some of these documents, basically saying if they want a hand with settling the national debt, I'll be more than obliged to help them and give them a hand with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, they don't. I don't
That
think
would be lovely. Wouldn't that be lovely just to go into how many trillion is it? I'll just sign. There we go. It's done. Thanks very much. Right. Can we get on with our lives now?
Well, this is the way it is for obviously the people that are in the know. The people that go to Eton and Cambridge and all these big universities. They get taught Bills of Exchange Act when they're like
Yes.
12 years old. They already know it's their bread and butter.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I think this is how the rich stay rich and the poor get poorer because they know how to use the Bills of Exchange Act correctly.
Yes.
Um, but yeah,
So, are you able to go through some of this then and explain a bit of it?
yeah. So as I was saying, the 2 week before, I was going through all this information, got this through, and I was like, right, well, it's time to do something then, I think.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I got it through. I don't know if you can see. I'm just take my head out.
Yeah.
So there's the way that he was signing. So without recourse, pay to the. This is on. So in the UK, a lot of people not paying the mortgages and asking for the completed mortgage document. There is on his website. I think I'm allowed to say it. I think we spoke this. It's onestupidfuck.com. And on there is lots of completed mortgage documents, and this is the verbiage or the way that they use to finish off the mortgage documents. So without recourse, pay to the order of, and then I've put Rotherham Metropolitan Borough Council, all capitals, by my signature, Richard hyphen Samuel hyphen Dean Ashmore, and then agent underneath. Um, So that's the one that I sent for the summons. And then
And
don't
what
ask
happened?
me.
And what happened?
Yeah, so don't ask me how. Somehow the council had my email address. No idea how they got it. Didn't even know they had it if I'd given it them or they extracted it from somewhere. But then they sent this one through. So that was the email that I got.
So I'm writing in regards to the court summons. You return to my. Please be advised the
Someone,
summons has now been withdrawn, and an updated bill was issued on the 30th of the 10th, 2024. If you require anything further, do not hesitate to contact us. And so, what does that mean when they say the updated bill was issued? You mean that it's been paid?
so no, so that wasn't the bill. That was the summons for the
Right.
non-payment.
So, oh, okay. So they've got rid of the thing,
Got rid of
the
the
summons.
summons and said you ain't got to go to court, which of course we know it's not really a court anyway.
It's not a court. Yeah.
Um, and then they sent me the bill, which is this one, and then they put the total amount. But when I got this one through, I was like, well, I kind of forgot on the first one, and I put Rotherham Metropolitan Borough Council. That cancelled the summons, the fake summons or whatever. Um, and then I remembered, so yeah, I'm supposed to be putting my, he calls it an ens legis, which means
Yeah. The
a
legal fiction.
yeah, legal fiction or a product of the law. Um, so I did that one without recourse, paid to the order of, all caps, Richard Ashmore by, signed it, Richard hyphen Sam Aberdeen, hold on, Ashmore agent. Um, and then I left a little slip on there. I don't think I've got that picture that I've loaded. No, I don't think I've put that one in. Um, but yeah, I've attached a little thing to it saying if you'd like help with. Oh no, I put deliveries acceptance because if you send a bill through the post and it is special delivery signed for, as soon as they sign for it, that is classed as delivery under Bills of Exchange Act. 1882. I can't remember which section at the minute. I should have brought all my little footnotes for all the points,
That's
but yeah,
okay. We're getting the gist of it.
yeah. So you send something through the post, a bill of exchange, which is essentially what they've just sent me. So it's a bill of exchange is a sum of money, a certain time and date. So it's an unconditional order to pay. They're ordering me to pay money. There is no money. Money is what it used to be called specie, so like species, but without the S. It used to be specie, which was gold and silver coins. Obviously, we don't have that anymore. We only have promises to pay. Um, so there is no money the way that they're saying it. So
Hmm.
I've given uh, this document life. I've said that this document is the money and that it needs to be paid to the order of Mayans Legis by me, the man,
So,
and that's
so
your
just for clarity, there, where you've got, and it's unfortunately it's quite small on my screen, so I'm trying to just see exactly what it says. The ens legis is your all names in caps, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
all
just
capital
for
name.
those people following, that's the legal fiction, the crown copyright name that's on the birth certificate, etc.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There is variations of that, and a bloke called Sovereign Davo in our Telegram group, he goes into that, and he does it a different way. He does it his own way. I'm not saying there's any specific way. Don't copy me. Do your own
Well,
research and all
I
that
can
stuff.
tell you with a water bill that I had, I did this, and I from something it's slightly different, but pretty much the same sort of thing. Signing, basically giving it life, as you say, and I didn't hear from them. I sent it off, didn't hear from anything. Then 3 months later, I got the next bill, and on that bill, the second bill, it had a statement of previous bills, and it was settled.
Yeah, yeah.
I made a video then saying it bloody works,
Okay.
and everybody did it, and then they were pushing back,
Oh.
which I suppose they shouldn't do, but they,
Well, they're bound to, but then you've got to know how to enforce it. So
yes.
what I've done with this is what Brandon teaches as well, and he's coming out soon with a credit repair. So there's a guy called Joey Kimbrough that he works with. He's part of his law firm, Williams and Williams law firm. He they're making a credit repair thing because that Joey Kimbrough, he had like I think he said like a 600 or 700 credit score, and then he'd gone through it using methods that he'd learned and been practicing, and basically got it up to like a 999 score. So he just does what he wants now. He's got a $5 million lien on his car for that's his insurance on his car. So if anything happens and he crashes and kills someone or something, he's got a $5 million lien on it, so he can hand that out. Um, but yeah, that's different stuff that
Yeah.
we're trying to break it all down basically in the Telegram group. We've got little sections for like bills of exchange, cars, HMRC, council tax, utility. We're trying to break it all down, and I'm just sharing what I'm doing with that, and other people are putting their ideas and stuff in. If you want to come and join the group and you want to have a look through there, if you've got loads of questions, please go through the 2.0 course first, and then have a look at the stuff that we've already been doing. Please don't come with like 15 million questions and asking how
Mm.
can I do this, how can I do that, because that's just going to take forever. It's for everyone to do themselves. And as I said, Dave O, does it his own way. People might find that they want to do it their own certain way. It's all about standing in the stuff that you know, and the knowledge that you get from learning this type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that one note, this isn't legal advice or anything like that. Obviously, people must do their own due diligence, and if they're going to attempt these sort of things, be prepared to, do them one at a time. And maybe if things are a bit tough for you, you're feeling the heat, just have a bit of money on the side, so you can always pay these debts off and then have another go later on. It's no biggie at the end of the day. If it works, it works. So what happened next then? You wrote that off and you sent that to the council, presumably, by getting them to sign for it.
Yeah, yeah, special delivery. So sign for. So when it gets to them, they have to sign for it. And under bills of exchange, delivery is acceptance. So as soon as the note or bill of exchange is delivered and signed for, that's it. It's delivered. It's accepted. So then they have to give you a good reason not, and they have to do it in a certain way, and they have to tell you that it's dishonored. They have to use the word dishonored. They have to write a notice of dishonor and send it back to you. And if they don't do that within 90 days, then everything just comes to the end. And um, yeah, so that, essentially, if they don't dishonor the bill correctly in the right way, then I've got recourse with being able to get the money from them. And at the minute, there, I did where you do a subject access request.
Yeah.
So I asked them for all the paperwork that they've received and all the paperwork that they've sent through the post over the last, I think it was 6 or 7 months. Um, they sent me back an email with all the paperwork that they'd sent me and nothing that I'd sent them. So I think I'm probably going to wait a little bit, probably like 20 days, and then I'm going to report that to the ICO, even though that doesn't really mean anything. But it's just a record of me saying uh, they're not producing the data, they've lost my data, they're in dishonor in a fashion.
Right.
And that gives me more backup. So basically, all I'm doing is building an equity case. So
Yes.
I've given this document life, I've given it value, and I've told them to pay it to the ends legis or capital's name. If they don't want to perform, so I've done my performance by endorsing the document. This is called a special and qualified endorsement. So the majority of the time when you sign for a loan or mortgage or anything, you leave what's called a blank endorsement, which basically means you're gifting the value of that document or that bill of exchange to the banks or wherever you send it to. They then pass it around and chuck it onto the Bank of England's discount window facility. They make money on it, and then it gets sold and passed around, and you know how the game goes.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they are at the minute in dishonor. They can't show me the bill, so they've lost the bill. Um, and
That's
there's
really that's that. I mean, that's really interesting. Because, just to jump in there, but from a personal experience, this is exactly what I had when I was doing it with other things, and I did do it the same with the council tax, and they said they wouldn't accept it. So I said, no problem, send me that financial instrument back, and of course they wouldn't. So and they tried to do the summons thing, and in the end, I just said, well, fair enough. Here's an invoice for the same amount. So I invoiced them in the end, and
yeah,
then
that's
it all went away.
essentially that's essentially what I've done. I've sent them a bill back now, and I'm saying that they owe me. And I even gave them a bills of exchange cheat sheet that I didn't attach it to it. I put it in there with the other stuff. Um, and I gave them a cheat sheet showing them what they need to do. And then once we're both in possession of these bills of exchange, then we ourselves can go to. Well, you can't because I haven't got a business or anything that can get access to the Bank of England discount window facility. But there's nothing to stop me from going into the bank and saying, look what I've got here. It's a document. It's from the Section 151 officer or the CFO of the council, and it's saying to pay to the order of the council. There you go. What are you going to do with the document?
Yeah.
And
Huh.
that's essentially what they should be doing as well, but obviously they're not. And there's something called um, purloining negotiable instruments. So essentially theft. So over here, that's up to 7 years in prison. So essentially, I'm trying to build a case now to take to equity or chancery court, and I'm going to be trying to sue for damages. So the damages are going to be £10,882.31, and then I'm going to add however much I've been paying for postage because I
Mm.
pay special delivery. It's usually about £8 for the letter. A bit expensive, but the way I see it, I'm due it all back. I'm due it all back. I've performed on the document. I've given life to the document. I've given value to the document. Performance under Bills of Exchange Act. So, no, sorry, consideration under Bills of Exchange Act. So, evidences of debt are classed as consideration under Bills of Exchange Act. So, an evidence of a debt is consideration. So, I've performed, I've given consideration, and they haven't done anything. So, essentially, they've nicked my bill of exchange,
Yes.
and it's theft. So, I'm going to sue them for a bit over 10 grand, probably 11 grand nearish.
Fantastic. Okay. And so this is the council, but I think you've got one with the water or other
Uh,
companies.
yeah, so I saw your one with the water, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's very interesting. It was coming from, was it Australian guy, was it?
Yes. Mike
Yeah.
Holt came on the show. Now I know a number of people have said, "Oh, Mike Holt's not worth listening to," but I mean, I tried to be as open-minded, and I did try his system, and I have to say, it certainly worked the first time I did it, and of course. I wasn't up to speed on how to do it the second when they started to push back after I made a video about it, because
Yeah,
a lot of people were suddenly, they must have been inundated with people attempting it in different ways,
yeah, yeah,
and maybe not getting it correct. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. That's just the little note that I left um attached to the original bill. So I put delivery of notice acceptance. I'm available for private discharge and settling of national debt. If my services are required, please advise so. And that's the only thing that I put with that. I then obviously get the letters back saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And then I've used in affidavit format. So obviously I've got my coat of arms in the top corner. I put please respond in affidavit format. Fail to do so, will concur to point four. And then I put the legality of council tax was never in question. So I'm not saying that what
Right.
they're saying is true or false. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not creating a dispute. I'm not putting myself in
You're not
dishonor.
causing controversy.
Exactly, exactly. But I'm asking for them to be bullet pointing answers to my questions, and obviously failure to do so creates a lien, doesn't it? So
Mm.
affidavits, if not responded to, stand as fact in law. So I can't read exactly what I put on that.
No.
But yeah, if people want this stuff, it's all in the Telegram group that we've got. I share things openly in there. And the water did the same, sending me a bill through the post. I did the same as what I did with the council tax, endorsed it, exact same wordage, put the exact same thing on, and with the Yorkshire Water as well. This is absolutely mind blowing. This is one of the major points. I didn't find this information. One of the guys in the group found it. Absolutely hats off to him. He didn't want shouting out, but he is a proper legend. If you go in there, you'll end up finding who he is. Um, but yeah, so this is Yorkshire Water Limited. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this before. This is Company's House. So if you search for your water company, if you search for any company really that was registered, I think it's usually after 2006. Any company that's, I mean, before 2006, any company that comes after that, they have different wordage and it doesn't contain this exact phrasing. But yeah, Yorkshire Water Limited. There's the company number, and then you click on incorporation documents. No, filing history, then incorporation, and then you download the PDF and flick through that. So 90% of these private limited companies, you see that's the company number again. They are originally
Oh yeah.
registered as
So,
Kelder Group Limited in 1999. And then you scroll through, and it's right near the beginning. It's been underneath all his noses all along, and it says to draw. This is point J. To draw, make, accept, endorse, discount, execute, and issue checks, bills of exchange, promissory notes, bills of lading, warrants, debentures, and other negotiable instruments that may be incidental or conductive of the company's commercial activity. Slightly different with some of them with that end bit, but it all says two on all these points. It says two, 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 and then it gets to draw. And yeah, like 90% of private limited companies have all this inside. It's basically so that they can do business. But it says
Right.
to draw. Sorry.
So in other words, they can accept the bills of exchange, and it's in their articles of association or in their incorporation document.
That is it. That is it. Yeah.
So when they say, oh no, we can't accept that, you're saying that you can write back and say, well, according to your incorporation document, it says you do. So maybe you should have a look at that. And then bingo, you've got them.
Exactly. So that is literally that's a case, isn't it? So it
Yeah.
says in your incorporation documents, either do it or I'm going to sue you. Well, why have you
Yeah.
got that? Why have you got that in your corporation documents? You're lying. You're clearly lying. So this goes for any. So obviously we're trying doing this for cars and stuff. So we looked on Porsche, Ferrari, all these big car companies, and yeah, they have all the same stuff to draw make.
So yes, so what you're saying is you just go into the car showroom. I mean, and you sign the thing and say, I'll have that one, please. And actually, I'll have the next grade up because it's a bit posher. It's funny because I listened to a podcast some years ago, and it was a woman on a phone from America saying exactly what you've said, but not quite as clearly. And she said, effectively, you can walk into a car showroom because you are the creditor, and you are effectively saying, yes, I approve this. You've given me the bill. I approve it. Take the money from the trust, the Ens Legis Trust, and then she could technically go out with it. But she said the problem is you're talking to the salesman who hasn't a bloody clue what you're talking about because he's not trained to do that. Because
it's very sad for those people because they're the people that you've got to go for. Who else can you go for except the man that stood in front of you?
Yes.
The man that's saying no, sorry, we don't accept that. You could be like, well, here's your incorporation document. It says that you do in here, so it's you that's the problem, not me.
Yes. I mean, presumably, honourably, you could. I'm assuming honourably you could say, well, look, go and get your managing director, because I understand that you're just a sales bloke or somebody from your financial director,
CFO,
your CFO, who ought to know, and then you can say, here's your certification document on the company's house. Here's the bill. There's my bill of exchange. Could you hand me the keys, please? And if you'd open the door as well, I'll take it now. Fill it up, will you? That's incredible.
It's funny because we're getting paid to do it. Well, we should be getting paid to do it. The people over in America, this is what he says in his group. When people try and criticize his group and says, "Oh no, you're just taking free cars," and he goes, "No, we're not taking free cars. We're getting paid to take free cars." That's what they're doing.
Yes, and we said it at the beginning that, I mean, the critical thing there is for those people who think, well, this is just taking the piss and you're acting, fraudulently, is that nobody is actually losing. The manufacturer has made the car and the distributor is selling the car. You're being paid to take the car away and use it, and they make their money, and you've got a car and you're etc. So there is no loss.
No loss on any side. So obviously the way that you're signing it makes it sound like that's the only way that it can be done, and that it has to be to that specific thing. But you can make it open-ended. All depends on how you sign it. All depends on how you endorse it. We've gone through all his life signing stuff away. And we would literally people say you're signing your life away. We literally have been signing our lives away, leaving what's called a blank endorsement on all of these documents. Yes. If you ever get your hands on a mortgage document, do it this way. And the bank's not losing. The person who's selling the house isn't losing. You're not losing, and you're getting paid to get that free house. Crazy how bills of exchange work.
Yeah. Absolutely, and of course, if everybody understood this, it would be a much happier place.
That's it. That's it.
Maybe the government would be too happy with people suddenly driving around in flash cars and having
Well,
big country houses. But
they're all still getting paid, so how can they not be happy?
well, you would think so, wouldn't you? And you would think that they would tell us this then. But
Well,
there's
it's all hush hush, isn't it? It's for the upper echelon, the people in the
two-tier
know.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the people in the well, as I said, they get taught it in all these high end schools that learn about this stuff, Cambridge and all them.
yeah, and they don't want us to know. And so, from an audience perspective, don't initially go into the Porsche sales thing. Try it, experiment if you want to. That's not a direction. I'm not offering any advice. And just what have you got to lose at the end of the day? If you can't, if you do get a bit scared, you can still pay as you used to do. There's no, you don't have to go to court or any of those sort of things if it gets a bit of a worry. But as you say, they may push back, and then you push back, and you say, "But I am honourable. I'm honourably doing this," and as you say, you've got remedy there by pointing to the certificate of incorporation.
Yeah, yeah. As I say, it's not the case for all private limited companies. Um, as I say, typically the ones that come after 2006, it seems
Mm,
like that they're the companies that don't have the same exact verbiage, but they have to be using the bills of exchange out because that's all we have. We don't have money. We have bills of exchange and promissory notes. There's only two ways of payment. There's either an order to pay or there's a promise to pay. There's nothing else. There is no money. There is no money.
mm.
It's all been taken off us. Um, this is Brandon says he thinks we're going back to a gold standard again. Um, Possibly. We're on about this BRICS coin cryptocurrency
Yes,
type thing. BRICS coin backed by gold. We don't know if it is. It's still going to be digital. It's not going to be something we're holding in his hand. It's in my opinion, gold is going to end up skyrocketing. I don't know why. I don't know why gold is such a thing. It's kind of useful. It's used in circuitry and stuff like that. Silver is, on the other hand, a lot more useful. Silver is undervalued at the minute. If you want to grab some silver, it's severely undervalued. There's a lot more uses for silver. You might know colloidal silver. I've literally got some in
absolutely. Yeah, and they're
glass of
using it in
water
the
over there.
solar panels and all these sort of things. So there's going to be a huge demand, and
Yeah.
apparently it's running out. So absolutely. Well, listen, Richard, thank you so much for sharing that. We'll put the link to the Telegram group
Yeah.
in the description. The just tell us the name of the other website one more time so people can go and get that course.
Yeah, it's called onestupidfolk.com. Yeah, there's
That's
a
one stupid fuck
yeah, that's correct.
dot
Yeah.
com.
It's on the left-hand side. You scroll down, it says 2.0 course. Click that, put your email in, send you one video a day, and just go through that. I
Free of
do.
charge.
I do other things on my social media. I put videos on TikTok and YouTube. The Beer Guy 8006 on YouTube, and then on TikTok, I'm not 100%. I think it's just the Beer Guy 26, maybe. I do decodes and gematria. I find out uh, big like events. You know, the Rothschild guy died. I've got a very there's two of them that died. If you didn't know, the one that died before the eclipse, and there's one that died after, and the number and dates and everything on them. They kind of blow my mind. But yeah, yeah, I
Brilliant.
do stuff like that. Yeah, so feel free
Well,
to.
I'll put those links as well. Give you a bit of promotion. Why not? Should be good.
Yeah, yeah. If you
And
don't mind, if you don't mind. I'm not too bothered about it. I'm not bothered about clicks and all this stuff. It's just
no, but it's
good
nice to
information.
have people, yeah, sharing stuff and learning. People do in at this particular time. I think as people are waking up to all the different things that haven't been told to us, it's fascinating. Even if you're not going to try it, as many people just find it absolutely amazing that you can do these things. So, Richard, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
It's been an absolute joy and fascinating again to revisit the bills of exchange because a number of people had asked me about that before, maybe not had so much success. This is a slightly different way of doing it, which I think is fantastic. And that little gem about the certificate of incorporation on the government's website, the Company's House website. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. What about that? Let me know if you try, if you have any success, because it's always good to share the success rather than people struggling. It's nice to hear when people have actually done these things. So do keep in touch. In the meantime, thank you for watching, Richard. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Richard.
Till next time. Thank you for watching. From Richard and I. Goodbye.